What's up, everybody? Welcome to vlog number 13. In today's episode, we're going to Downstream Resort and Casino to play a $150 buy-in, $5,000 guaranteed tournament. Pretty good weekly tournament. First place is usually around $2,800. And yeah, let's get after it. Headed to Downstream Resort and Casino to play their nightly $150 buy-in, 5K guaranteed. And by nightly, I mean it happens every Saturday and no other nights. So hand number one, we look down at King Jack of Spades, under the gun. We start this hand with about 30k in chips at 100, 200 level, so it's the second level of the tournament. Anyway, I go ahead and open it up to 600. The button makes it 1300, and I call. Flop is a fairly interesting one. The flop comes down ace, ace, 8. I check. The button bets 1600, and I call. Not sure that I really like that call. Anyway, the turn is 8 of hearts. I check. The button bets 3k. I go ahead and make it 7k, and he calls. I thought I could pretty credibly rep the ace here. Probably fairly marginal, but we start this handoff very deep, so I think we can make some moves. Anyway, the river is the queen of clubs. I check, and he snap shoves on me. So there's no way I'm making the call here. I go ahead and fold, and he shows the good news, I guess, and flips over ace queen of spades. So we were in for a real bad time if we got any spades or any straight cards, or yeah, just like anything in general was going to be pretty much bad for us. So we lose the first hand of the tournament that we play. So before we get into action in another hand, I actually had a gentleman sitting across the table from us who was running pretty well. He gets it all in pre-flop with pocket jacks against ace king and holds on to win. And I asked him how to win with jacks because he had played a couple hands very successfully with pocket jacks, and he answered me with a classic line that I think should catch on. He said, "It's like crazy eights. You just get it in the middle and hope." Anyway, it worked out for him, so can't really knock his strategy too much. So hand number two, I look down at ace king offsuit from the button. It's the last hand of level 100, 200, and I'm starting the hand with around 20 to 22k. I think about 20k. Middle position opens to 1,000 after two players limp. I go ahead and make it 3,200. The big blind looks at me and says, "You stole my move," and makes the call. So that was fairly interesting. The middle position player folds. So the initial raiser folds after he gets after he sees a 3-bet in the call. The flop is a pretty good one for us. Flop comes down ace queen 7. The big blind checks. I go ahead and bet 4,200. And without thinking about it for very long, he shoves for my remaining about 15k. He had about 3 starting stacks right off the bat. This is the gentleman who was talking about how to win with pocket jacks. Anyway, I think about it for a minute and make what seems like a very standard call. And we're super excited when he flips over ace jack. The board runs out clean for us, and I go ahead and double up to 42k. After the big double up with ace king hand, I play a few what I thought were very standard hands, and I'm not really sure what happened. I have a little bit of history with at least one player at the table, the guy who knew how to play jacks. I played with him before, but really not sure how this got started. But everybody at the table seemed to start thinking that I was capable of 3-betting king 3 suited. I don't know where this idea came from. I'm not capable of 3-betting king 3 suited. That's not really something that's in my range. But yeah, that was a running joke that everybody thought was hilarious. So if you're worried that I'm 3-betting king 3 suited, guys, I am not. That is not what I'm here to do. I'm not that good or that bad. I'm not sure which. But anyway, yeah, no 3-betting king 3 suited. So hand number 3, I think I played pretty bad. Not really sure. Let me know what you guys think. I look down at ace of clubs, king of clubs from the button, so pretty excited about that. I've got about 42k to start the hand, and we're playing 100, 200 with 200 big blind ante. Don't know why I couldn't spit that out. Anyway, the under the gun player makes it 700. The next 4 players call, so that's a lot of people. Anyway, it gets to me. Action been pretty hot and heavy at my table, so I thought I could use a big sizing, I guess. And I mean, there's a lot out there. Anyway, I made it 5,000 and everybody folded. I think I should probably make it like 4,000 maybe? No, probably like 3,000 or 3,200 or something like that. Anyway, everybody folds and I take it down. Hand number 4 was a fairly interesting one. I look down at a6 from the small blind, middle position player limps, I limp, and the big blind checks. So I'm pretty sure we were at 200, 400 here, and I started the hand with about 42k. Anyway, the flop comes down queen high, and the action checks through. The turn is a 5. I bet 1,000, and both players call. So seems a bit questionable. I'm not sure what they're both calling with here, but anyway. The river is another 5, so I think that's a fairly decent card for me to continue on. There are some draws that could have missed, and yeah, I just felt like I should fire here. Anyway, I bet 2,000 and both players fold, so we go ahead and pick that one up and get a small bluff through. Hand number 5, I look down at pocket 7s from the button. Action folds to me. I make it 1,500. I started off this hand with about 50k, and I think we're at level 300, 600. Anyway, I open up to 1,500 and the big blind makes the call. He started this hand off with about 15k. The flop comes down, a very reasonable one for pocket 7s. Flop is 8-6-4. I go ahead and, the big blind goes all in like he had 100% intended to, just like he was snapping it in no matter what the flop was. So that was pretty confusing to me. I didn't really know what to do, but on this flop and with his stack size, I don't think there's anything I can do. I make the call, and he rolls over pocket 10s. I don't really think I could fold here ever. I have him in here as a disinterested player, so I must have been thinking he was just ready to get it in. Anyway, unfortunately the board runs out, not good for us, and he takes it down, so we take a bit of a hit. In number 6, I look down at Queen Jack offsuit from middle position. I open up to 1,500, which might be a little bit loose since I'm playing about a 40-45k stack at 300, 600. Anyway, the big blind calls, and we're off to see a flop. Flop's a pretty good one for me. Jack 6-5. The big blind checks. I go ahead and bet 2,200, and he makes the call. The turn is another 6, which I think is a decent but not amazing card for me. He checks. I go ahead and continue betting, trying to get value. So I bet 3,500, and he makes the call. The river is an 8, so that completes a lot of straight draws. I didn't complete any flush draws that I remember. And anyway, I check. He checks. We both check. I show my hand. He mucks. And we go ahead and take this one down. So hand number 7, I look down at pocket queens from under the gun +1. I got around 45 to 50-ish K to start this hand, and we're still playing 300, 600. I go ahead and open it up to 1,500 pre-flop. The button calls, and he's the only one that calls. This is the same guy who I just beat with Queen Jack the hand before. The flop comes down, a pretty good one for me. It's all undercards. So I go ahead and lead out for 2K. And the button makes the call again. I could maybe go a little bit bigger, but this doesn't seem like the kind of player I want to fold. The turn is a 9, so a card that I very much don't like. He's going to have a lot of 9s here that he's going to call with. He's going to have a lot of 9s that he's going to call with pre-flop, so yeah, not loving that. So I go ahead and check, and he checks also, which is a great sign for me. The river's a 3. I go ahead and bet 4,000. And he thinks about it for a little bit before making the call. I flip over my hand and he mucks. I can only assume that he had a jack or something like that, so kind of an annoying spot for him, but given the way he played the rest of the tournament, he could have really had a lot of different hands there. So anyway, I take that one down. Okay, so played a hand with 10-7, didn't we, Brian?
We did.
How did that go?
We went runner queens thanks to this guy that
Counterfeit him on
a guy's 3-4 offsuit.
Yep.
Which he called 15 big blinds with.
15 big blinds pre with. That's pretty good.
It's because of misclicks, so it's semi-counted.
So I'll take it. I just stopped by, tapped him on the shoulder, saw that he was all in against 2 pair. Turns a queen. I was like, another queen will counterfeit him. All I just said was queen, insta queen. So Brian's got 1,000,000 chips. I have a few chips.
I did pick up aces on the next hand and bust a guy who played 1 hand in the last 3 hours. So yeah, he didn't have 7-2.
He did not have 7-2. He had pocket jacks, but he wasn't mad. So anyway, still in, second break. Let's win. Well, guys, that's all for episode 13. We've reached about the middle stages of the tournament. I got so many hands from this one that I decided to break it up into 2 different vlogs. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and tune in for the next episode. We make a fairly decent run in this guy, so yeah, got some big hands coming up, and I'm gonna have a lot of questions on how I should have played those. Any comments on the vlog or how I played, please leave them below. If you like the vlog, I think it's this corner actually of the screen, something like that. There'll be a little subscribe button, press that one. And yeah, I will see you guys in episode 14 coming soon.